Thank you, Blade, for the follow, man. Thanks for welcome. Oh, not much, man. We're just getting the pregame show set up, getting everything ready, getting my notes all arranged so I don't trip over my own tongue. Hey, AP, welcome. Jesus. I'm doing okay, my friend. Just a little nervous for today. Got a hell of a complex and difficult topic to talk about, and I really don't want to mess this up today. Oh, welcome, Demo Wolf, to the community. Thank you for the follow, man.
Charging battery.
We'll be getting to start the conversation here in about 5 minutes. I'm going over my notes. I want to make sure that I get this right.
Charging battery.
Had a nice little chat with a couple of my friends who are more educated in law
Charging
than I
battery.
am. Whew. Oh yeah. Oh man. Whew. I'm not worried about like having a big audience or anything. That's not what scares me. It's like I'm more scared about messing up the topic matter than I am about, having a big audience. It's just like, oh God, I really don't want to mess this up. Like, oh Christ. Try raising that up a little bit more, because I know I've been a little quiet lately. Oh, that's too loud. Turn that down to 90. There we go. Yeah, I felt like it needed to be talked about. With all the things that are going on recently in the news and everything that was going on, this was a topic that needed to be discussed. Like, it was definitely something that needed to be handled. And I hope the sound quality is coming through well. So there's that. Oh, I need to disable that. There we go. Maybe that's coming through a little better now. I was saying I had two microphones going. That was weird. Am I coming through okay now? Alright, let's see. Seems okay to me? Okay, cool. Alright. Whew. Alright, we got 3 minutes. 3 more minutes. Oh, God. That's not gonna work. Alright. And if you guys know of anybody else who would appreciate this topic and me talking about it, by all means, welcome, JG Sensei, to the community. Thank you for following. I'm super appreciative of it. If you guys know of anybody else, by the way, who's, you know, could use this kind of a talking, you know, like, that feels like this kind of a, I don't know what, I'm bad with wording. Goddamn. Words, please. Words work for me here. I'm trying to think of the words I want to use, and it's so hard to think of words. There's little dudes. What are those? Dabs. Thanks for the dabs. I appreciate it. But if you know of anybody who could use this kind of a conversation, like they feel like they need this kind of conversation to help bolster them, by all means, it's helpful. Like if you think someone you know is being harassed, by all means, this lesson may help. Whether they can watch it now, or you can direct them towards my YouTube, where this is going to be recorded and then uploaded to. That also works. Hey, D34 man, or Smurf. Hey, Smurf man, thank you for the follow. I'm super appreciative. Welcome to the community. If you want to lurk here, man, you're more than welcome. I appreciate the lurk. Alright, let's get this lesson started. Oh boy, because this is going to be a doozy. Oh, this is going to be a hell of a doozy. Alright. Welcome, guys, to Tabletop Tuesday. Share this on Stu's Discord. Thanks, man. Yeah, that's going to be super helpful. Please, by all means, share this. Any kind of assistance will help. I'm going to try to arrange this to the best of my ability where I can, so that way I can talk directly at the camera instead of off to the side where I can. So that way this works a little better. If my camera will behave, thank you. Alright, guys, thank you. Oh, that looks horrible. Damn. Oh, man, that is just god-awful. Alright, my apologies. I am bouncing you around like pinballs here. Alright, guys, so we're talking about a very sensitive subject today. And that subject is harassment. The reason why I'm bringing this subject up is due to the recent major news. Welcome, Twin Mom Gaming, to the community. I hope you enjoy our wonderful little community here. I appreciate the follow. Thank you. So I wanted to first cover real quick what the quick news that brought me to this particular topic and my feelings and thoughts on it, and then I'm going to progress into the lesson that I found. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's my little Snoopy shirt. It's a little Snoopy says vibes, good vibes. I figured a positive shirt was good. Thank you, Snorlax, for the follow. Snorlax90, welcome to the community.
Battery low.
Oh, of course, the dang thing. I unplugged the stupid headset, and then of course it's like, battery's now low. It's like, Jesus.
Charging battery.
Alright, so the Blizzard sexual harassment suit that California has brought upon them is the main reason why I'm talking about this. Alright, California did a 2-year investigation of their lawsuit basically against Blizzard Activision, and they found quite a few instances of not just sexual harassment, but workplace harassment and hostile work environment. I separated hostile work environment and workplace harassment because they are actually separate things, even though legally they are the same thing umbrella-wise. They are slightly different, and I'll explain why when I get into the lesson. Now, there have been a lot more people who have come forward and have stated that they were also victims of this harassment. And it's good that they're coming forward. There are more people basically saying, hey, this is what actually happened, and this is not good. And I felt that this is something that needs to happen for gaming culture as a whole. We need to have these kind of things happen so that we grow as a culture and we deal with these issues and basically remove these problems and root them out. Because that's a problem. We can't have these guys, or in some cases women and other people, deal with, like, doing these things, alright? Now, when I say, like, guys, gals, and non-binary pals in my opening, usually is because I try to be all-inclusive. And harassment is also all-inclusive, both victims and perpetrators. Now, when I say that, there's a reason why. When it comes to sexual harassment, yes, men tend to be the primary perpetrators, and that's very true. When it comes to workplace harassment, though, that's also true that others can get involved depending on the circumstances. In Blizzard Activision's case, it was primarily men. I have not heard of any women doing anything because women were not in positions of power. This is very true, and Blizzard needs to be held accountable to this. But at the same time, when I looked into this, I feel like I fall into Asmongold's and Zepla's kind of point of view as well, which is we gotta let the courts kind of do their thing, and we basically need not to storm the gates with torches and pitchforks. It is good that we're angry, and we need to be angry. Like, anger is a good response to this. Let us be angry about this and hold them accountable to this. But we should not send them death threats. We should not target Blizzard employees that are lower than the management at this point, because the majority of the Blizzard employees at this point are not responsible. Like, the people who are working in the cubicles, for the most part, are just trying to do their jobs, because they're still pumping out gaming stuff, alright? And they're still doing their work. Try to let them do their jobs. Now, maybe some of them are doing these things, and that's bad, but it sounds like from the reports, it's the management that's the problem, not so much the general workers. So let's let the legal system do their jobs. Alright? As much as sometimes that's really not fun, and this can take a while. Like, the few legal guys that I have as friends, I talk to them about this. I'm like, hey, how long is this going to take? Like, should we expect this to be resolved in, like, 6 months? Is this going to take a year? And some of them told me, it's like, yeah, this could probably take a year. This could probably take up to 3 to 5 years, depending on how hard Blizzard fights this and how well they fight this. So there is a good possibility that we're going to be watching this unfold over years. Alright? This can take a while. Now, for some people, they're talking about boycotting Blizzard, not buying ever a Blizzard game, things of that nature. I haven't bought any Blizzard games in a long time. I stopped playing World of Warcraft a long time ago. Diablo's not been really my shtick. for a while. Like, I've never played Diablo 3. I wanted to. Like, I wanted to give it a try, but I haven't. So, there's that. But other than that, I really haven't done much in the Blizzard properties. And with this new information, I really don't have much of a desire to. But that's my personal opinion. And I honestly suggest to each person, make up your own opinion. You should personally decide if you want to buy Blizzard products at this point. Do you want to invest in Blizzard? And that is your choice. That should be your thing. Alright, I'm actually talking to the wrong screen here. My apologies. I should be talking to you, not that. My apologies. Alright, so you should be thinking about, do I want to buy Blizzard products or not? That is your choice. Alright? Another thing I feel that we should do is, yes, we should support these women who are going through all this, but at the same time, some of these people who are claiming these things, we got to take into account. After this, what's the word I'm looking for? Report came out, some of the ones that are jumping on the bandwagon are just jumping on the bandwagon. Like, I feel like the majority of them, like, I'm fairly certain, like, 99.99999 repeating are accurate. Like, I am 100% certain on that. Like, most of them are. If any, there might be one person in that whole crowd that may be slightly exaggerating. If that. Alright? But that is a possibility. Alright? And I want to leave that up to the legal system to figure that out. That is not my job to figure out who's lying. That is the prosecutors, that is the defense attorneys, that is the police, that is all those guys. Alright? Another thing that I was told is this kind of a lawsuit is often used as a sometimes a preamble or a precursor to a more criminal suit if they find enough evidence to move forward. So if they find enough evidence to say, hey, we found enough evidence of sexual harassment, we found enough evidence of this, where they actually broke actual law, then we can move forward with criminal action. And then there could be more done. I was watching another conversation about this where a person would point out that boycotting could hurt those who were the victims. That's very true. The boycotting can actually hurt some of the victims who are still working there. Because Blizzard Activision has already shown that they are not above taking it out on the people who turned in the reporting. They're not above punishing the whistleblowers. And that's happened. And that's one of the things I'm going to cover in my quick little lesson here, is what's called workplace harassment. Alright? And this is gnarly. It's a gnarly form of harassment that I've actually suffered before. And it's not fun. Alright, so with my thoughts out of the way, like, it was a quick little thought on my Blizzard thoughts. It was not very long. I only wanted to cover it really quick. I'm going to get into the lesson about how to identify harassment, the types of harassment, and how to deal with it. Alright, whether it's at your D&D table, whether it's at, because I do a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. I'm a big nerd gamer. Like, hi. Like, I am what I am. And, or it's at your online game where it's like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, whatever game you play online. Or it's, I need to move a little forward so I can be heard a little easier. Or it's in your voice chat, like whether it's Discord, TeamSpeak, whatever you use for voice chat, and you notice it. Alright? So, there is that. Now, one of the things is, I wanted to point out the definition of harassment. Because a lot of people are like, oh, what's the definition of harassment? Right here. This is Webster's Dictionary of Harassment right here. Aggressive pressure or intimidation. That is harassment. Alright? Simple, easy thing. And they're like, oh, 3 types of harassment. Verbal, written, physical, or visual. That is very general. It's a very general way of saying harassment, and it's very broad, but it is a way of saying it. And harassment is very, it's hard to like pin it down, But there is multiple forms of harassment. Now, the first type of harassment that a lot of people know about is sexual harassment. That is the most common one. When you say harassment, that's what comes up more often than not. All right, yeah, take care of yourself, JG. No problem, man. You're more than welcome to come back whenever you need to, man. Like, I don't, like, tie you to a chair like Clockwork Orange and hold your eyes open. Welcome, Diablo 34, to the community. Thank you for following. I appreciate it, my friend. Alright, so sexual harassment is the most common one that people think about when you say, I've been harassed. Alright, especially a woman. When a woman says, I've been harassed in my history, that's the most common one that comes up. And to be brutally honest, it happens a lot. Usually, according to statistics from what I read, about 1 in every 3 or 1 in every 4 women has been harassed or have been harassed in their lives. That's a lot. Like, think about all the women in your lives. Or it's mind-blowing. It's just like, whoa. It's like, dang, man. So you think about that and you're like, that's kind of wild. So what do you do with harassment like that, right? That's one type of harassment. So you've got to handle that. Second type of harassment is called workplace harassment. All right? Workplace harassment is purposely messing with someone's metrics in order to make sure they don't get bonuses or pay. Purposely putting them into positions where their work is affected in such a way that they look bad at work to affect their productivity. Or another workplace harassment is distracting someone at work effectively enough to where they can't get their work done. All right? Those are 3 basic types of workplace harassment. And then you got hostile work environment, which you're like, technically that's workplace harassment, but it's not at the same time. Hostile work environment is different than workplace harassment, as workplace harassment focuses on you, where hostile work environment focuses on other people around you to make them not want to be around you and make your workplace unfriendly to you. This is like the type of person that would basically use this type of harassment to convince others to backtalk you. Or to, if you need help with a project, convince them not to help you with a project. And you suddenly find yourself piled under a bunch of work. And you have no assistance with that work. That's a hostile work environment. People sneering at you as you walk down the hall. Making rude comments, things of that nature. And getting groups of people to do that. That's workplace harassment. That's hostile work environment. All right, those are examples, anyway. So there is that. And you're probably thinking, well, what does this have to do with gaming? These all sound work-related. Gaming can be similar to a workplace. You're still being social. You're still attempting to accomplish goals. You're still trying to work as a team. D&D is especially that case. You have a group of people sitting around a table attempting to accomplish a teamwork goal. And you're trying to do creative problem solving. It is what it is. Online gaming, also very much like that. You're in a guild. You're trying to go on raids. You're trying to accomplish crafting. You're trying to get gear. What if nobody wants to go on raids with you? What if nobody wants to help you build your gear? You're suddenly playing a single-player game that's designed to be an online game. It doesn't work, and you suddenly feel very alone. That creates a hostile environment for you. That creates, essentially, a unfriendly workplace area for you when you're trying to have fun. This doesn't work. And gaming is some people's job as well. Yes, that's very true, AP, like Twitch streaming, so on and so forth. And they can even turn other Twitch streamers against you. Like, there's plenty of examples of videos out there of drama being started between Twitch streamers and stuff like that. That's just wild. And so there's plenty of examples of harassment. Alright? So, you're like sitting there going, this is wild. There's so many versions of harassment out there, and there's so much things to do. But there's another form of harassment I want to talk about. Alright? And this form of harassment is a secondary harassment. It's a secondary form of harassment. It can go with the previous three easily, and it's also what I refer to as the most insidious form of harassment. I've sat there and watched it happen to my wife. I sat there and watched it happen to my roommate. And I've had it happen to me once or twice in my life as well. And it is a royal pain in the dick to deal with. And it literally damages someone's psyche for sometimes months, if not years at a time. And it's called gaslighting. Gaslighting is a horrific thing to have happen to a person. And some of you may have already seen someone have that happen to them. Alright? It is not a fun thing to deal with. Especially if you have like a loved one or a friend that's trying to recover from that. It is horrific. Now, some of you are probably wondering, what the hell am I talking about? Alright? Like, what is gaslighting? Alright? Gaslighting is a manipulation by someone by psychological means into questioning their own sanity. That is the definition. Alright? They do this by basically making you question your memories and your emotional state. Alright? They do it by basically, like, say you go, oh yeah, I was, last Tuesday I was out, doing, I was out barbecuing, and I cooked hot dogs, and it was great. I was having fun. The gaslighter will go, are you sure about that? I think you were cooking hamburgers. And then your brain will click a little bit, and you're like, was I cooking hot dogs, or was I cooking hamburgers? I'm not sure. And then the gaslighter will keep picking at you until you think you were cooking hamburgers instead. Even though, in reality, you were cooking hot dogs. Alright? This form of manipulation is nasty. Alright? And it works because our brains, our little monkey brains here, are not perfect memory machines. And we instinctively all know this. We all know that our brains don't work perfectly. And we don't, remember everything perfectly. And we try to give the other person the benefit of the doubt. Because most of us are like, maybe I remembered that wrong. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Very few people are like, nah, I remember it perfectly. Usually, we don't like hanging around those people. More often than not. But there is that. So with that being said, I've covered the forms, the basic forms of as I'm tongue-tied here, and I'm nervous as hell, so I apologize. I covered the forms of basically harassment. These are the basic forms. Alright, so let's talk about how to deal with these. Alright, so there is a quote I'm going to bring up. It's like, is it something about meetings? And I'm gonna quote this to the best of my ability about recording meetings. All right, I can't find it, but I'm gonna quote it to the best of my ability. All right, so please forgive me. There's a character named Londo Mollari, right, this guy right here, and he makes a quote in the show. He goes, I make it a habit to record all my important meetings, because you never know when an inconvenient truth will fall through the cracks and scurry away. Alright? The best way to deal with a harasser, especially a gaslighter, is make sure that if you're worried about basically being being harassed like that, start recording your stuff. Alright? Like, talk on Facebook, talk on Discord, on text, and keep a log. Now, mind you, you're gonna need to make sure that, how do I put this? You stay within the law, because various areas. Why am I nervous? Because this is a very difficult subject, and I want to make sure I don't mess this up. I know this is a very touchy subject for some people, And I understand that for some people, this can upset some people a great deal. And I want to make sure I get my information through clearly. And I am not the most well-spoken person. Like, I have pages of notes that I'm narrowed down to about a page. And I'm trying to keep my thoughts clear and not jumble everywhere. Alright. So, he made that quote. Alright, where it's like, basically record your important meetings. Alright. So, what I'm going to do is, with that in mind, we're going to talk about the steps on how to deal with these harassers. Whether it's D&D, or gaming, like online video games, or Discord. Alright? Now, you do not have to do every single step. You don't have to do them all. But the order is important. Now, I want to say this very, very clearly. If you feel your life is in danger, or the life of the person who's being harassed, skip to the authority steps after you've collected the information step. Alright? Go information step, authority step. You can skip a bunch of steps. Alright? But the authorities are going to need the information. So hear me out. Step 1. Start collecting some cursory information. Alright? Just a little bit of snippets here and there. Alright? On why this person makes you uncomfortable, or why this person makes the other person uncomfortable. Like, if the person being harassed is unable to approach the harasser, and they have asked you to intervene, then ask them for snippets of the conversation, if they can. If they are unable to, basically approach the gentleman or lady, whoever is doing it, and basically go, hey, there have been people who have asked that you're making them uncomfortable. Could you please stop X behavior? If you have examples, that is better. Examples are better. Because the more examples you have, the better off you're going to be. Alright? Because most of the time, harassers will say, oh, I'm being misunderstood. They're just taking it out of context. Or, my personal favorite, it was a joke. I've heard that so many times. It was a joke. Like, fucking Christ. It's like, if that is a joke for you, then you should stop telling jokes. Alright? It's not funny. Jokes should not make other people uncomfortable. Not to that level. Especially, but if they go, but they laughed. And I'm like, there's a difference between a laughter of amusement, and they actually found it funny, and a laughter of nervousness, like, I want to get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm looking for the exit door. There is a big difference. Alright? Big one. And even I, who am very bad at reading social cues, know the difference. Like, oh boy. So, with that being said, at least do step 1, like, collect some cursory information. Step 2 is at least have a chat with them. And approach them and say, hey, you need to back off. Now, if they back off at this point, we're going to assume the worst case scenario as we progress through these steps. I pray to whatever gods exist, they drop at the nicer steps. But hey, we're assuming they're not. Alright? We're going to go with worst case scenario here. So we're going to say they didn't. And the harassment continues. At this point, we're going to step 3 now. Step 3 is start collecting more information. Alright? Start getting the text documents, like where they're talking to the person. Start getting, if you can, audio recordings, if you are able to. But once again, make sure you're following the laws of your area. Like, I live in West Virginia, and I live in the United States. West Virginia is called a single-party consent state. What does that mean legally? It means that if I know I'm being recorded, and I am in a relatively public space that I know there are no expectations of privacy, I'm allowed to record the conversation. That is legally what I'm allowed to do. If there's a group of people there, or one other person there, as long as it's like a public Discord, I'm allowed to record the conversation. That is legally what I'm allowed to do. But that's West Virginia law. So my recommendation is, if you've hit step 3, check your local laws. Alright? Or check the laws of where the Discord server is. Alright? Those are usually probably going to be what you're aiming for Discord server. If it's a gaming server, contact the gaming admins at this point. Alright? And check with their ruling. Like, are we allowed to record conversations? Because we're having an issue. And we want to basically get permission. Alright? The whole better to ask for forgiveness than basically... better to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission does not apply to this. Alright? This is not something you can fuck with. Like, legalities don't do that. You do not want to blow off your foot doing this shit. Alright? So if you can get in contact with a game master about this, so much the better. Alright? At step 3, you also, if you're not the guild lead in a game, if this is the gaming style level, I'm PA and a journalist, so I know I have to get the person's interviewing permission to record the interview. That's awesome, AP. I'm glad to hear that. If you're in PA, I'll have to hear from you sometime what part of PA you're in, because you're right next door to me. Sometime I'd love to have an interview with you about your experiences. That would be awesome to have. Oh, excuse me. Oh, yeah. With that being said, where was it? Oh, yes. Step 3. You're in Arizona. I've been in Arizona. It was hot as shit, but it was a nice dry heat. It wasn't humid like I am now. Step 3. If you're not the guild lead, say you're like a guild officer, get the guild lead involved. Let them know what's going on. Don't get them, directly involved, but at least keep them in the loop. Tell them, hey, this is what's going on. I'm taking care of it. This is what I'm doing. If you're the DM of a D&D game, be ready, because you're probably going to have to kick the guy. Alright? It's a much smaller group, so be prepared for that. Alright? So now we've hit step 3. We've recorded a bunch of information, taken care of things. Step 4 is conversation number 2. Alright? It's conversation number 2. Conversation number 2. And you're telling the guy, it's look, man, we had a chat, and you didn't listen. This is your last warning. You stop this shit, or you're gone. End of discussion. Do not leave. Don't leave anything to chance on this one. Be 100% fucking crystal clear with this. You fuck around one more time, you're gone. And that's all 3 levels. Just, nah. Alright? At this point, they're going to get pissed. Alright? People do not like being backed into a corner. They're going to get aggressive, usually verbally. They will not get aggressive physically. Alright? It's very rare for someone to get aggressive physically. But they will get aggressive verbally. Alright? They will start an argument. They will say they're being harassed themselves. They will project. That is a big thing harassers do. They project. So they will project saying they're the one being harassed. They're the ones being targeted. It's unfair to them. The other person's just making shit up. It's complete things. This is why you need the recordings. This is why you needed the evidence. So that you could prove they aren't making things up. That this isn't a targeted campaign against them. So that way, boom, there is no way you can, say that this is completely made up. Because the proof is in the pudding. At that point. You're nope, you're full of shit at this point, dude. Because I have the evidence. Alright? And you give them that last chance. Alright? Now, usually 1 or 2 things will happen. Alright? 1 or 2 things. Either A, they're going to chill the hell out and tone down for a little while. Alright? B, they're going to flip shit and leave your area. In a D&D game, they'll leave your game. In a online game, they'll leave your guild. In a Discord, they will announce their departure like they're leaving the fucking airport, and then leave your Discord. I'm not kidding. They do that every goddamn time. Like, without fail. Okay, Snarl, Dundee, thank you for coming. I hope you have a great night, man. I hope to see you. We'll be streaming next Monday. I'll probably be playing Final Fantasy again. And next Tuesday will be another Tabletop Tuesday. I'll probably be discussing some D&D stuff. I don't know if it'll be a quite in-depth topic such as this, but hey, I take suggestions all the time. If people want me to talk about a topic, I'll talk about it to the best of my ability. Now my nose itches. God dang. Alright, so, like as I said before, they'll announce like they're in freaking O'Hare Airport and just book it. There's a reason why they do that. Alright, they'll do it the same in the guild too. They'll announce that they're leaving and then leave the guild. And they'll make this big paragraph saying, screw these people did all these horrible things, da-da-da, and they'll even make shit up as they leave. And they'll leave. The reason why is to sow discord and strife in your community. That's their goal. Their goal is to emotionally manipulate the people they made friends with while in your community to get them to leave it with them. That's the whole goal. Alright? Because while the harasser was harassing one or two people, they were making friends with others that were similarly minded to them, but not doing the same crap they were. Alright? Because we are talking about people who are mentally and emotionally manipulative. That is their kind of their shtick. Some of them are better at it than others. Those who focus in gaslighting, some of them are friggin' mastercraft people at this shit. Hey, David, welcome. You came in at a fun time. We're talking about some deep shit. Alright, so they're going to try to emotionally manipulate your community. Alright? If you're running a D&D game, it's not going to be as bad because you have a very limited group. It's easier to contain the fallout. You're not going to have as much damage. In an online game and a Discord, that containment is going to be a lot harder because you have a lot more people. It's a lot harder to get to know everyone in your group, and you are going to deal with some crazy shit. Alright? Some of them are going to say some really weird things. Some are going to make up shit that they heard. Like the harasser is going to make up things, and these guys are going to repeat it. Alright? They're going to parrot it. And you're going to have to do damage control. And it's going to be rough. It's going to be really rough. And you're going to have to deal with it. And trust me, as someone who used to be... When I played in the video game Star Wars The Old Republic, my officer title, and I'm not shitting you, was the Guild Therapist. I was the Guild Therapist. What that meant was everybody in the guild got to come to me with their problems, usually in-game problems, not real-life problems, and I listened to them. I went to the other officers, and I discussed it in a relatively calm manner. Sometimes I would grab one of the officers and just go, bitch! and smack them if they did something epically stupid. And then I would try to resolve the problem to the best of my ability. Sometimes I get the guild master involved, but more often than not, I was able to work it out with the other guild officers, where we didn't need the guild master involved all the time. And the guildmaster appreciated that I did that all the time, because I filled that role even before I was a guild officer. Like, I was doing that as just a dude. Like, I was just a normal player, and I was like listening to all the players going, hey, what's going on? Why are you upset? What's happening? And they would explain to me, it's like, oh yeah, this is how it's going on. Da da da. I'm like, oh, okay. Let's talk to one of the officers and figure out how to fix it. And it's like, oh, okay. And then that's how it worked. Hey, Redbeard, welcome to the stream. So, dealing with that, I got to deal with some of these harassers and their fallouts firsthand as the guild therapist. I got to see their machinations and manipulations in the frickin'... we had TeamSpeak at the time. Their TeamSpeak. And I love Discord for the fact that it has a better chat function and it keeps a better chat log. Because, oh my god, I wish I had that. It would have made my life so much easier. So, with that being said, oh my god. So be ready for the fallout of the manipulation, alright? They're going to remove themselves, more than likely. If they chill out, though, they'll chill out for a period of time. They're not going to stop. Some will, but very few don't, if they've gotten this far. They will stop for a period of time. All right? I cannot tell you how long it will be because each person is different. All right? They will stop for a period of time. And then they'll start back up. And they'll start doing it again. It'll be slow at first. And then they'll keep doing it. It's like dealing with a child. The child will see how much it can get away with. And then it'll go up a little more. And a little more. And then a little more. Until eventually you catch them again. Alright? At this point, we've hit step 5. Step 5 is, if you're on a guild or a free company, guild, free company, or Discord, boot their ass! Alright? Throw their ass out. Because at this point, this is the 3rd strike. I've always done the 3 strikes you're out rule. It's been always the best rule for me. Because he's like, you've given them 2 times to mend their behavior. You're like, hey, chill, fix this. Nope. Gone. You're gone, man. Goodbye. And at that point, you're kicking them out. Alright? At that point, everything I just said about step 4 is going to happen in step 5. Alright? It's gonna be a thing. Alright? It sucks. But it will. Alright, step 5. Now, at this point, most of your problems will be resolved with most people. Alright? Because at that point, they'll move on. They won't have access to your... The best part is when people do something so much that they feel like they're being attacked and they feel like they're being used and leave on their own. Yeah, that's usually step 4. They're like, I'm the one being attacked. And they announce that they're leaving. Like they're freaking in an airport. It's like, okay, bye. Now, at this point, most of the people are gone. And the person who's being harassed, by the way, about step 3, I would say, if not step 4, have that person being harassed, block them. Alright? Oh, you're fine, man. You added just fine, my friend. Never hurts to add a little extra. At step 3 or 4, make sure that, double check with the person being harassed that they've blocked them. Because they should have blocked them at step 1 or 2. Because they felt uncomfortable. If they haven't done it by step 1 or 2, definitely block them by step 3 or 4. Like, knock it off. Alright? Alright, step 5, they're gone. Now we're hitting step 6. Step 6 is the, we are now seriously concerned here. Alright? Step 5 is they should have no way to contact the person they're harassing. You have cut off their Discord access. You've cut off their guild access. You've cut off any way for them to actually effectively contact them. Alright? At this point, especially if the harasser has not given them, the harassee has not given them their phone number, their address, anything like that. Alright? And double check with them just to be sure. It's like, hey, you didn't give them any of your private information, right? Just be sure. It's like, just like, please do not give your private information out. Don't do that. Does not end well. Alright? So, with that being said, if they did, block their number on the phone. Tell them to, like, block their email address, their number. Should be writing this down. If you want to take notes, by all means, take notes. I used to be actually a teacher. I used to be a history teacher. I used to teach history and computers. So, but I haven't been in a classroom in years. It's been a while. Alright, but yeah, if they have given out their private information, make sure they block their phone number, block their email address. You know, just simple stuff. Alright? Easy, simple, not hard. Now let's talk about what happens when we hit step 6. Step 6 is the person has now crossed that little imaginary line that has gone from simple harasser to full-on stalker mode. Alright? And oh my god, is this the scary part. Alright? This is the part where I talked to a couple of my friends who are in the legal field, and they gave me some notes, and oh boy. Alright, now mind you, this is for like West Virginia, so I had to dumb them down to a little bit to where they generally fit the field of everything to the best of my ability. Alright? You have collected all this information. Make sure you don't delete it. Alright? Step 6 is the person is now going after this person. Now, if you're in a D&D game, that means they're showing up at your game without permission. It means they're hanging out outside. For guilds, it means they've made an alternate character and they've joined your guild. Alright? For games, that's a big investment. Alright? And they've had to have leveled it a fair amount. Because some guilds will let you come in with a brand spanking new character. Other guilds are like, hey man, you gotta wait like 10, 20 levels before you come in. It depends on the guild. And then Discords. Discords is the hardest one. All you need with Discord is a new email address. And that's not hard to make. A new email address and a new name. That's it. That is scary how easy it is to bypass that. Now with Discord, you can get around it with a IP ban. But you can also get around the IP ban by simply switching your location with, say, a VPN. If they own a VPN, they can get around the IP ban. So, there is that. Like, I do IT as a side. Yeah, my aunt and uncle used to live in PA as well. Ah, okay. Nice, Diablo. Yeah, if they have a VPN, you can get around an IP ban. I've done it. It's not hard. As someone in the IT field, I've done it before. I took classes in IT, and I was just like, it's so easy. And it's frightening. So, and if you have like a big Discord community, it's easy to get lost in the noise. It is. And as much as I love Discord mods, they have so many people to keep an eye on, it's hard to keep track of everyone. And it's not their fault. It really isn't. So you gotta keep that in mind. So, when you hit step 6, they've hit Stalker Land. Alright? They're purposely going out of their way to get back in touch with the person they're attempting to harass. Alright? With that in mind, you have to log, once again, who they're basically getting in contact with, what they're saying, and, you know, how they're saying it and things of that nature, because that is important. That's information you'll need, because then you've proved with your information you collected before and the information you collect now, you have already told them you don't want to talk to them. You've already taken steps to not talk to them. And they've gone around those steps to infringe on your right to not talk to them. At this point, the authorities will more often than not do a restraining order. Alright? That's the best they can do in this situation for the first step. They will do a restraining order. And that restraining order will basically make it so that they can't go within X number of feet. and they're not supposed to talk to you. All right? I've actually had a restraining order for, not against me, but for me against someone else, because they went into a public restaurant with a couple of my friends who worked there, and they gleefully laughed at the fact that they stated they attempted to kill me. I cannot exaggerate this. I'm not exaggerating. They were laughing at like 10, 11 at night in like a fast food place that they had attempted to kill me. That was their thing. And I was just... And one of them was my roommate at the time. And he convinced me to get a restraining order. And I was just like, the hell. Luckily, it was a false claim. They were exaggerating. But still, that was like, why would you make that kind of a brag? That is just, wow. That was outside my mind. It just blew my mind at the time. It's like, whew. So, there is that. Alright? So, restraining order is step 6. Alright? They crossed the line. How to respond to step 6 is getting the restraining order, getting the authorities involved, bring all that evidence to them. Alright? And make sure you have that evidence. That's why I had you collect all of that earlier, is to collect it and have it for when you needed it. Alright? That's helpful. That's how you deal with that. Alright? Now, if you have the restraining order and they still keep contacting you, then we move to step 7. Step 7 is way more of a doozy. Alright? So we're hitting some heavy shit here, guys. Step 7 is, once again, collect more information that they are continuing to contact you. Notice how much a lot of this is information gathering. Intel gathering is the most important tool you will have in this situation. And that applies to all 3. Alright? I cannot state this enough. The more information you have that you can bring to the table, the better you will be. Whether it's pictures, whether it's texts, whether it's video or audio recordings, whatever you can get your hands on that shows that this guy or girl will not take no for an answer. Boom. Alright? That takes care of that. Now, if we were talking about the other type of harassment, alright, where they're messing with you and making it a hostile environment, that's going to be a little bit more difficult, alright? That whole situation was you didn't want to talk to them. And they just would not take no for an answer. Okay? Hostile environment is a little bit more different. And that's going to be a different kettle of fish. Hostile environment, once again, information collecting is your friend. You're going to be doing that a lot. And your best hope for that one is someone above the person who's making it a hostile environment or making the workplace harassment a problem has someone above them that can keep them in check. Because if they are the guild lead or they are the Discord primary admin, your best bet at that point is to leave quietly. Don't make a fuss. Just leave. Alright? Because if you make a fuss, they're going to do retaliation. They're going to come after you. That's what they do. They were already targeting you before. They're going to come after you again. Even more so. It's going to become a thing. So your best bet is to quietly leave and inform those you care about the situation. And share the information you have collected. Alright? Keep them informed. And make sure that you share screenshots. Make sure you don't just like type, oh, this is what they said. No, use screenshots. So that way it shows what they said. Alright? Don't, like, use the old movie axiom, show, not tell. Alright? That's important. Because, dear Lord, if you show them saying things in their own words, it's a lot harder for them to deny them saying that versus you just typing it out and saying, oh yeah, this is what they said. It's a drastic difference. And it will save you so much problems in the future. And now for the last one. The last one. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is going to be the hardest one to deal with because it's the most insidious. Alright? People who are being gaslit usually don't notice it at first. They are oblivious to it because the person doing the gaslighting is focusing on them and putting the blinders on their eyes, not letting them see the manipulation. Alright? And if you see it's going on, that means the gaslighting person is not targeting you. And you have been lucky enough to avoid it. And I am glad for that. Trust me on that. Alright? I've watched it happen to a multitude of people. The thing to do with gaslighting is, one, give the person support. Verify their memories the best you can. Like if they say, hey, I did this on Tuesday, and the other person said, no, you didn't, then point out, if you know for a fact they did, say, no, they did. Give them reassurance that their memories were true. Their emotional state is true. Another big one is, like gaslighters will try to do, is like, aren't you being overly emotional for this situation right now? They'll do that a lot. Especially male gaslighters to females. They'll tell women, it's like, I think you're being overly emotional right now for this situation. I heard this so many times. It drove me up a wall. I almost like the time my wife was being gaslit by her boyfriend before she got together with me. I heard that all the time, and I just wanted to like strangle the fucking dude. Like, my God, man. It's like, why? Why? She's not being that angry. Like, she is upset because you didn't do what you were supposed to do, and she's obviously upset because of that. And you're telling her she's being overly emotional. I'm like, no, she's not. It blew my mind. And then, like, same thing with, like, my roommate. Like, her boyfriend was so bad about it. It blew my mind. I can't go into too many details about it because I don't want to, like, put her entire life on blast. But, I mean, shit. He did a lot of the same shit. And I was just like, how? It's just gaslighters are just that insidious. And sometimes you have to wait for the right time. Like, working with someone who's been gaslit is a exercise in patience. Because you have to wait until they have that moment of that low. Because gaslighters will take them on an emotional roller coaster. Alright? They'll have highs, they'll have lows, up and downs. Alright? And it is wild. You have to wait for an emotional low and then point out the problems. Because if you don't do that at that point and you wait for a high, the gaslighter's defenses are up on that person, on their target, and you won't get through. It's like their shields are up and not an attack will get through. Nothing. You have to wait until that emotional wall is down and then get in. Otherwise, nothing gets through. It's like talking to a brick wall. And that's not good. It is rough, it is brutal, and it will drive you up a wall, especially if it's someone you care about, like a friend or a family member. It's maddening. What else? The big thing I recommend is just like I said, just be careful, be patient, and work with them. Try to be there for them. Help them. And just work with them, especially during the emotional lows. That's when to help them. And then when they separate themselves from the person who's been gaslit or been gaslighting them, the biggest thing I suggest, and I know some people are going to get really upset when I say this, get them therapy. Get them to a therapist. And that's true with almost anybody who's been harassed. They need some therapy. When do I typically stream? I stream Monday nights at 7 to 9. Tuesdays is also 7 to 9. PM, and those are both Eastern time. But yeah, getting them therapy, that's a big thing. And the reason why I say this is someone who's been gaslit, they have dealt with mental and emotional manipulation for long periods of time. It is going to be difficult for them to recover from that. Usually someone who's been gaslit will be in some form of emotional and mental recovery for roughly a time equal to, if not 2 to 4 times longer than the period they've been gaslit. Oh, you're welcome, Diablo. They about that time. Like, so if they've been gaslit for a year, it could be 1 to 4 years before they're back to being themselves. And it'll take a while. And that's with therapy. It is hard. It is a difficult road to rebuild your psyche from that. And it is not easy. And it's not something I recommend anybody do by themselves. Because you are going to have some really bad days. And it's going to be rough. Like, I cannot even tell you, like, some of the days I had here with 2 people who are recovering from it. Like, dang. It just... There were days that were just outright rage-inducing. And honestly, therapy helps. Therapy helps a lot. And I cannot over-suggest it. I really can't. Like, in this situation, you need it. And in most cases, the authorities recommend it. They're like, hey, you need to talk to a good therapist. We got several numbers. This is what we suggest. Please, oh God, my nose. I'm about to sneeze. We really suggest you talk to one. Sit down and at least talk to one for a little while. All right? It's heavily suggested. And I agree with it wholeheartedly. And that's true. I mean, dang, man. I can't even suggest it enough. And I wouldn't be surprised, like, the women who are currently dealing with the whole Blizzard thing right now, I wouldn't be surprised if most of them have gone through some form of therapy at this point. With the shit they're dealing with. Because that's wild. Like, the cube crawls and the freaking frat boy mentality all around them, treating them like crap, and that is just horrible. And I haven't even covered workplace harassment yet. Oh boy. Oh man. Well, I was covering gaming stuff, so there's that. D&D gaming stuff. What happens if your DM is the harasser? That was a note I had. What happens if your DM is the harasser? The guy running the game. If the guy running the game is the harasser, my only suggestion at that point, find a different game. Don't deal with that. Unless all the other players are completely chill, in which case, get rid of the DM. Overthrow his ass. Like, pull out the torches and the pitchforks, because it's time to overthrow God. It's time to kill God. Because, gee, good lord. I mean, if you go on, like, Reddit, there's plenty of subreddits where they talk about horrible DMs that have done some god-awful things to their players. I mean, good lord. Just, it is horrifying. So, I mean, if you want to put yourself through that, I wouldn't recommend it. No D&D is better than bad D&D. Don't do it. There's plenty of, like, Roll20, like, give me a second. Roll20. Here you go. Check out Roll20 here. Like, there you go. Boom. Oh, wait, you can't see it. Boom. Roll 20. Alright? This is Roll 20. You can play online D&D, Pathfinder, whatever. If you're having trouble finding a game in person, by all means, play it online. Meet some people. Have a blast. Alright? Play Roll 20. Alright? I mean, that's one option. I had just realized you guys couldn't see my screen earlier, so I, like, when I was pulling up, like, Londo Moari and all that jazz, I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, getting into D&D online is heavily recommended. Like, my games, I have run 3 games right now, 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturdays, and they alternate on Saturday. And I'm a player in a 4th game that's on Sunday, because I rarely get to be a player. And I was just like, screw it, I'll play in a 4th game just to get a chance. Alright? It was something I wanted to do for so long. And I needed it. Alright? But this do I accept new players? Right now my games are full. My Friday game is full. Both my Saturday games are full. But I do accept new players when I have space. I know that when one of my current games ends, I will have 2 slots open because 2 of my players are wanting a break. So I'll have an opening then. I'll have 2 openings to be precise. So I'll be letting people know. And at that point, I'll be asking actually the community if they want to join. I'll keep you in mind, AP. I mean, I understand. People need a mental break at times. It's totally fine. And I'm not going to bug them about it. Because one of the things I've always stated to my players is real life comes first. Alright? And that's true with video games. That's true with D&D. That's true with any kind of hobby. Make sure you take care of yourself first. That's important. Alright? You guys need to make sure you're eating, you're sleeping, all that jazz. Yeah. I do have a note here that says if you guys have any questions about the topic at hand, which is harassment, by all means, ask them away. I'll at least try to answer them to the best of my ability with what I got. If I don't know a question, I'll say I don't know, and I will attempt to look it up and answer it at a later time. If I can't find an answer by looking it up, I will ask someone who knows. I'll ask an expert. I have experts somewhere of various topics. Like, I know a few lawyers, I know a few police officers, military guys, I know scientists, I know computer people other than myself. Usually I'm capable of finding an answer to various questions at some point somewhere. It just takes me a while to find it sometimes. So there is that. I will say that be careful when it comes to harassment, though. Especially when you're dealing with someone who is a harasser, because some of them will be aggressive. Some of them will be sometimes violently aggressive. So, luckily online you won't have to deal with that as much. But I still would err on the side of caution. Be protective, be safe. Don't share personal information, okay? That is my biggest point of advice. Like, sharing what state you live in is okay because states are big. And that helps. But other than that, like, try not to share too much information. Don't go too crazy. I know some people it's a little harder to do, like people like myself or people like Redbeard, where we're streamers. We tend to have a little bit more of our lives out in the open, so it's a little easier to collect information on us. So that does happen. I try to limit my personal information out on the web as much as possible, but I don't go too deep into like, my location. So there is that. And a lot of people seem to think that harassers are always male, and I can tell you from experience that's not always the case. Some harassers are female, some are non-binary. It does happen. It depends on the type of harassment. For me, my workplace harassment, which was the hostile work environment, was primarily perpetrated by a woman. She did not take too kindly to me being there because I got the job apparently over someone she liked, like one of her friends, and she didn't want me there. So she purposely put me in situations where my metrics were hurt, and I ended up losing my job because of it, because my pay kept getting cut because of it. And so that does happen. So women do use workplace harassment. It's just sexual harassment tends to be male more often than not. So that does happen. With the Blizzard thing, once again, I want to say that it's probably going to be at least a year minimum before we hear anything of substance for the case. Like, we'll hear little snippets here and there saying, oh, we got this, we got a little extra here, we got a little extra here. But, like, actual court information, we'll probably get, like, a year before they do anything substantive. And that'll be then when we hear something. Because Blizzard's going to drag this down as much as possible. Because they don't want this made public. Because it makes them look bad. It's a PR nightmare, to be brutally honest. This is a giant, massive PR nightmare for any kind of company. And it's brutal. It's knockdown, drag out brutal. And if they were actually doing this, which I feel like they probably were, it's going to be horrible. The MMORPG I want to play is Star Wars The Old Republic, and I know there is harassment in-game. Yes, there is harassment in Star Wars The Old Republic. I can attest to that. Mostly the harassment, though, I've seen has been geared towards, how do I put it, the subscribers versus the free-to-players I've seen. That's most of the harassment I've found, is the people who have been playing since subscription versus the people who picked it up after free-to-play. That's where most of the harassment I saw. Because a lot of the old guard are, like, really, really angry. Yeah, Redbeard, it's bad. Like, it's really fucking bad. They got over 100 women already saying that this is the shit that went down. And that number grows. It also doesn't help that, like, it really does not help that they don't have any women in their management staff that I saw. Like, am I wrong? Like, can someone correct me? Because I'm not a Blizzard, like, aficionado. Like, I don't keep track of their management staff. Like, do they really have any management staff that's female, to my knowledge? Because I haven't seen any. Every panel I've seen of Blizzard's been all male. Like, BlizzCon, every convention they've gone to, it's been all men all the time. Every panel. And it's just like, oh, that does not look good. Yeah. I can't confirm it, but, like, not that I've seen. It's like, Jesus, guys. It's not good, man. That's not a good look. At least, like, other games, like, you know, The Old Republic, Final Fantasy, what other big ones are there out there that was, like, a big MMO? I'm trying to remember some of the others, like, Guild Wars 2, they've all at least had one or two females in the management staff. At least a couple that I've seen in cons. There are not many, but they're still out there. Writing something about not playing Activision Blizzard games, and it feels like I can't word it strong enough. I haven't touched Blizzard games in a long time. And, like, I'm sitting here going, what else can I do? What's going on? I've not heard of that suit. Oh, Diablo, you have missed. Oh, gods. Okay, so, Diablo, what you have missed, and I'm going to go over because we talked about it the first 10 minutes of the stream. Blizzard is being sued by the state of California after being basically investigated for 2 years by the state of California for essentially sexual harassment, hostile work environment, where they had things like what's called a cube crawl, which is a bunch of guys get really rip-roaring drunk, like they chug the crap out of some alcohol, and then they run around the cubes, and they basically harass the women in the cubes and force them to do extra work. The guys at Blizzard were also spending, some of the higher-ups of the guys at Blizzard were not doing their work and forcing the women to do their work while they played Call of Duty or other games. One girl had a picture of her genitals passed around a holiday party, and she committed suicide shortly afterwards. And during that same time, a gentleman that she was, they said she was in a relationship with, but they're not sure if it was forced or if it was just she was in a relationship with. It wasn't clear in the document. Had a butt plug and lube. Yeah. That's in their document, their legal document. One of the managers, they mentioned him by name. I forget his name off the top of my head. I'm not pulling up the report. His suite was known as the Cosby Suite, named after Bill Cosby. Because during that time, Bill Cosby was in jail for alleged rape. Yeah. His work suite was known for that. How long has it been going on? According to the document, a while. Like, at least a decade, if not longer. Like, this whole thing has been going on for at least a decade. That's how long it's been going on. It is craziness. Okay, AP. Yeah, this is the lawsuit right here. Like, the PDF of it. Like, oh my god. It's wild. Like, I read through this and I was just like, dear Christ. And, yeah. Enough was said. That is just wrong. Yeah. Like, some of the females were criticized for leaving to pick up their children from daycare while their male counterparts were playing video games, and female employees were kicked out of lactation rooms so employees could use the rooms for meetings. Like, they had lactation rooms for women to basically, breastfeed. And they're like, nah, we're using that for meeting instead. Get out. Fucking hell. Like, Jesus Christ. The dang lawsuit is 29 pages long. It's 29 pages long. And it is craziness how bad it is. Some of them were like, I do not. Yeah, there is Alex Asfarabi, Senior Creative Director of World of Warcraft. His suite was known as the Crosby Suite. And he was only given a verbal counseling warning. He was told to have verbal counseling. And it did nothing. He continued to make unwanted advances on female employees, including grabbing a female employee's hand and trying to invite him to his hotel room while groping another woman. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's dang, man. It's dang. It's SOTOR Blizzard game. No, it's EA. Yeah, that's a different devil that you're making a deal with. If you play Star Wars: The Old Republic, I hope you like microtransactions, because the game is full of them now. That is very much the case. It is that bad. I used to play Star Wars: The Old Republic. It was a fun game. I loved it. And then when it went free to play, the game did a sudden and drastic turn. And it changed. Oh man, it changed a lot. Another problem with the whole Blizzard lawsuit thing is, though, their response. They both stated that they deny that it happened, but yet they're apologizing that it happened. They're like, oh yeah, we're so sorry. Yeah, SOTOR is EA BioWare. Yeah. Yeah, Blizzard's saying that they're saying openly, like publicly, they're like, this never happened, this is defamatory, these people are totally making this up, this would never happen at Blizzard, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, right, okay. And then in their company email, they're like, we're so sorry this happened. We want to make sure we do better, and we want to make sure you're heard. So please, if if this happens again, or if this happens, please speak to us, speak up, and da-da-da, and all that jazz. And I'm like, hey, Blizzard, quick question. Which one is it? Yeah, Blizzard, Activision as well, Call of Duty. Yeah, they own Call of Duty as well. And they own Destiny, but they broke off to Destiny. Destiny broke off and created their own studio. And Blizzard Activision owns Diablo. SOTOR is EA BioWare. So there's that. Final Fantasy XIV is Square Enix. The FPS? Yeah, that's Call of Duty. You're thinking Call of Duty, or which FPS are you thinking of? Destiny? With hero characters? Yeah, you're talking about Destiny 2, right? Or... I'm not sure what he's getting at. FPS with... Oh, you're talking about Overwatch. Overwatch. That's right. Overwatch. That's Blizzard. That's Blizzard or Activision. Overwatch is Blizzard Activision. Yep. They're making a second one of that, and it's bombing. Don't get me wrong, I love the Overwatch cinematics. I hate the gameplay. Hate the gameplay. Their videos are beautiful. They should have just... I want them to make an Overwatch movie. I would have watched the shit out of that before all of this. Would have loved it. It is what it is. Apparently, though, right now, World of Warcraft's development has grinded to a halt. because of this whole lawsuit. Workers are having trouble working. People are, development has, not moved forward much at all. So the next patch for World of Warcraft may take some time. And that's not good. That's not good for an MMO. That is not good at all. Because they're already bleeding numbers. Because the last patch, 9.1, did badly. Like, real bad. They fucked up. They fucked up bad. 9.1 did abysmally bad, and between that and Final Fantasy XIV doing really well and doing its thing, it was kind of like almost a perfect storm. Like, WoW lost a bunch of players to 14. And with this lawsuit hanging over Blizzard, they may lose a bunch more to, like, what are the games out there right now? It's like, there's Final Fantasy XIV, there's, what are MMOs are coming out right now? Uh, 2021. If I could type today, it would be nice. Ashes of Creation are coming out. New World is at the end of August. That's true. Blue Protocol, Crimson Desert, Crowfall, Lost Ark. I mean, there's quite a few MMOs coming out, and a lot of them are looking cool. Pantheon Rise of the Fallen at some point. Yeah, there's quite a few MMOs that are coming out that are all chomping at the bit for World of Warcraft numbers. And let's be brutally honest, WoW may lose them. Now, don't get me wrong, WoW's not going to shut down. I'm not going to say WoW's going to die. Like, that game ain't going to die anytime soon. But between hemorrhaging numbers from this Shadow Walkers expansion. Yeah, I think, what is the World of Warcraft expansion? World of Warcraft expansions. What's this last one called? That's not expansions. What is the last expansion list? That's not helpful, because it says the last one is Battle for Azeroth, and that's not right. Latest expansion. Shadowlands. Crash Bandicoot and Spyro Activision Blizzard? I don't think so. Crash Bandicoot. Yep, Activision Blizzard is Crash Bandicoot. And Spyro is also Activision as well. Yep. Yeah, they're both Activision. So Shadowlands, sorry, is the latest World of Warcraft expansion. And Shadowlands has done not well, apparently. From what I've been reading and what I've been seeing on people, they've been relatively angry about it. And it has caused them to hemorrhage some numbers, and that has caused other MMOs to rise. It is what it is. But because of this expansion and then this lawsuit on top of it, that may hurt Activision Blizzard a lot more than they hoped. Because it may be that perfect storm combination that may hurt them in such a way that they may have a long, hard road of recovery. Like, if it was just a lawsuit, that's one thing. A gaming company can overcome a lawsuit. It's, you purge the people who basically caused this lawsuit, if I was in Blizzard's shoes, this is what I would do, alright? Hear me out. If I'm in Blizzard's shoes, and I'm the president of Blizzard, alright, and I was not one of the people who caused this lawsuit to happen in the first place, alright, Yeah, developers don't want to touch them anymore, which is what needs to happen. Yeah, hear me out. This is how I fix the problem. 1, look at all the people who caused the lawsuit. Fire them. They're gone. And make it very public that I fired their asses. And blacklist them. Make it so they don't fucking work in the industry, period. Alright? It's like, you guys are gone. Alright? Step 2. Alright? I know that Blizzard has a shit ton of money. Alright? Donate some of that to some charities to at least start to help rebuild my reputation. I know it's kind of sleazy, but it helps. At least a little. Start working towards building that rep. Alright? Start donating to like children's hospitals. Start donating to some like women's shelters. Things of that nature. Work towards rebuilding that rep. At least start working on that. Step 3. Hire some more diverse people. And let them rise through the ranks. Alright? Let that be a thing. Because, god damn, you need to let that happen. Because, Jesus. Alright? Step 4. Assure developers that it's not going to happen by showing them your new set of rules. Showing them what steps you're taking to make sure it doesn't happen again. Because you're basically cracking down on this. And you're going to crack down hard. Alright? That you are not monkeying around on this shit. You're not fucking around. It's like, this is not acceptable. We are not tolerating this anymore. And this is how we're going to fix this. Alright? Step 5. Hammer out some good games. Alright? Pick like 2 or 3 games and hammer them out. Now, here's the thing. One of the things I always think AAA developers need to do is have your AAA section have an indie development section. Alright? Take a few of your guys, make an indie development group in your little studio. Give them a little bit of money, not a lot. Like, keep them lean. Because that's what develops innovation. Necessity is the mother of invention. Alright? Give yourself a little indie developer subgroup. Alright? You can call them, like, instead of Blizzard, you can call them, like, I don't know, Frost Birth, or whatever the friggin' hell you want to call them. I'm bad at names. Make them a little indie developer, alright? And have them just go to friggin' town. Go nuts. Alright? Go wild, man. And then go to town. And just rebuild from there. Have your indie developers build some new properties. Continue with your AAA developer titles and build some properties there. And just work from that. That's your best hope for rebuilding at this point. Because if you keep going, as is, you're the damn Titanic, man, and you're gonna sink. And it's gonna hurt. I don't know much else I could say on that would help them just rebuild. It is what it is. Got smudge on my glasses now. I can't see. I'm blind! Alright. Well, it's a half an hour early, but I already covered all my notes. Is there anything else anybody feels that needs to be discussed? Any questions? Any comments? I am here to discuss. By all means. I avail myself of you. Alright. Oh. Man, it's been a day. Man, that was a rough topic for me. I was nervous as hell for most of it. Yeah, Activision tendrils do go far. Activision is a big developer, and it's hard to find what games aren't connected to Activision. But the problem is it's Activision Blizzard. So the question is it Blizzard that's at fault, or is it Activision? I feel like at this point it may be just maybe just Blizzard. It depends on how long this has been going on. Yeah, it was not an easy topic to discuss, and I'm glad I tried to cover it the best I could. And it's going to be up on YouTube for anybody who wants to like go back over it, especially if you have someone who needs help with this topic, dealing with whatever they're dealing with. It's always going to be up there as long as YouTube's little magical algorithm bot doesn't, curb stomp it into oblivion. If that's the case, I'm always around. I will try to help people where I can. I'm always here. So there is that. With that being said, I do want to thank everybody for attending the stream. I'm very appreciative of it. I'm going to try to find us somebody we can raid. So there is that. And make sure you guys take care of yourselves, okay? And take care of your loved ones. Enjoy your hobbies. Alright? If you need help, there's always someone around. I'm here to listen. Alright? I know I'm just some random dude talking into a camera, but I'm still here. I try to help where I can. Alright? So, I do want to thank you all. Hey, what the? Why does it say I'm hosting? Marine Mammal Rescue. That's weird. It says I'm hosting something. Am I still hosting? What is going on? What is going on? Oh no, I'm still there. Okay. My thing is glitchy. That is weird. Alright. So we're going to try to find something to go raid. So I want to thank you all. And you guys take care of yourselves, okay? Toodles. Stick around for the raid, okay?